Interesting. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to call the December 10th, 2021 Central Board of Architectural Review meeting to order. Okay, let's scroll down here. Do we have any members of the public who wish to address the board regarding an item that is not on today's agenda?
Madam Chair, it does not look like we have any attendees at the moment.
Okay. You want to do the agenda status report?
Sure. We do not have any changes to today's standard agenda.
Okay. Minutes of November 12th. Does anyone have any comments for the minutes? Cass?
Madam Chair?
Yeah.
This is Cass. I apologize. I was having trouble when I was unloading or downloading the minutes and stuff the other day. And I had to come back to it later and then it worked. But for some reason, and I was confused by this, the minutes that were on there were from September.
Huh.
No, I'm sorry, August. So I don't know what I'll have. I tried to pay special attention to it because this did happen to me before, and I don't know exactly why that is. So I try to be prepared in advance, and apparently, but I have the wrong set. So could we just kind of briefly breeze through this, and then we could try.
Okay. Well, you and Alan can follow along with me.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
Bethany,
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that for some reason, my computer wouldn't let me open them either.
Oh, interesting. Well, then let's all of us worry about the technicality later. And in the interest of keeping on our schedule, we'll come back to it during the briefings. And can we just take a look at the minutes that are up on the screen right now?
That'd be
I
great.
think Nicole's properly ready to go. So if we have any comments, let's try and get through this.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I think B should be would like specifications and locations of the path lights. And I think that's a requirement. And unless they're not a part of the submittal.
It's applicant may return.
Instead of my, yes, that's a good catch. They got rid of, I believe this one got rid of the light pole.
Sorry. So I am on the Matthew Gibbons cannabis cultivation.
The first one, yes. That was in E, the second word instead of my should be may. And B, as in boy, would, I think you could just say provide specifications and location of path lights.
Okay, provide.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready for 2?
Yes.
Okay, and number 2. Sorry, I lost my scrolling wheel. The clarify lighting details to ensure dark sky compliant lighting. This is C. Light pole and fixture location. I believe they did away with the light poles entirely.
Okay.
I think everything's mounted on the building now.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
could you please make this just a wee bit bigger?
Um,
Make it the document a little larger. It's hard to read.
it's as big as it.
Can get, okay.
Well, not necessarily,
No,
but
that's okay.
how's
Right.
that?
Yeah, that's better. Thank you.
Okay. Item number 3. I think these are kind of light minutes, very succinct. I think the B is talking about, somebody else help me out here. The overall site circulation. And we wanted to see the passive travel all connected up so that everything made sense on the plan. And the first comment is mine. The ADA is not usually, DG does not usually even stabilize, meet the requirements for ADA path of travel. Are you ready to go on, Nicole?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, for this one. Okay. You could combine, well, we lost D. Well, it's at, oh, we've got 2 E's. The one between C and D. You could just move that sentence up with the, or right after the first one, A.
Okay.
Bethany,
Yes.
cannot support approval of a second story. I don't know if it was said. I can't.
I'm the one who made the comment that was along the lines of the purpose of Hillside Ridgeline was to prevent 2-story structures,
Yeah, and
which is what I said.
okay. I just think when people are asking for exemptions and looking for a finding for
Mhm.
exemption, that it can't meet the
How about
finding.
if we say that cannot support the findings for an height exemption?
Yes, I think, I just thought it should be more clear.
Yeah, because that's not the finding.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
I think you could change in F, you could change love to appreciate the use of. Mhm. We like to be warm and fuzzy, but that's going a little far. Anything else on this one? Can I move to 5?
Yes.
Okay. I think this is a condition. B. B
Okay.
is a condition of the
So-
motion.
Okay. So I'll move it to prelim approval granted on the condition that.
Yes, please. Because that was direction and a requirement. And I think we have a fractured sentence. The planner may require applicant to to return to the board.
Was that on 5?
This is on 6.
6, okay, sorry.
This is the mixed use building.
Yeah, Bell Street.
Yeah, and it was, if any easement issues arise that result in design change, the planner may require the applicant to return
Oh,
to the board, because we granted. There's actually no motion here. But we granted, we made the motion for preliminary final.
Yes, we approved it. Mhm.
Yeah. So they're not coming back for further conceptual review.
Correct.
And I do not remember who made the motion and all of that. Leah, can you look that up while we do number 7?
Yeah, let me see if I have it in my notes.
Okay. I can't comment on number 7, so anybody? In fact, the minute should state that I have a conflict of interest with this project. Although we don't usually do that for conceptual review, do we, Nicole?
I don't think so. I think we just
Yep.
put like that you
Only when there's
we
an
would put
action
that you
taken.
were recused if an action was taken. Yeah.
Okay.
I would maybe just add under, there was concern, I think that there was general, very much support for the project. There was concern that it was prominent, and that we did appreciate that it had been nestled in, and then that was why we said to consider a darker color to make it recede a bit more. So I don't know if that's fully clear in those 3 notes.
So
Maybe under A, say, board expressed concern that of the prominence of the project, but appreciate efforts to nestle it into the hillside, and suggested considering a darker color to be more recessive. And maybe make number B A, or letter B.
okay.
Bucker, Alan, any comments?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, I'm not hearing anything from Puck.
oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I think what Cass just said clearly reflects what was actually said.
Okay. And then 8. I think you can take the ultimate elsewhere out of A.
Okay.
And I think at the end of B, you could say in appearance.
Okay.
Anything else for anybody else?
Number 8,
Yeah, on number 8. Anything else?
just a sec. No, I don't have any further comment.
Bucker, Allen, we good?
I'm good.
Leah, who made the motion for item number 6?
I'm good.
I have that Alan and Robin made the motion, and that Puck was gone during that review.
Yes, okay. So it was Alan made the motion, Robin seconded, and Puck was absent, correct?
And that was a vote of 4-0.
Okay, you got that, Nicole?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So anything else on the agenda, Nicole? Are there minutes, Nicole, that you need any
No.
clarification on?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve the November 12th, 2021 minutes as amended. Can I have a second?
Second.
Oh, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Just a quick housekeeping issue.
Yes.
The names listed under present, everybody was here, right? We just kind of shuffled who was here when.
I know Robin was here. Puck was here for,
Lowell was not here.
that's
Okay.
what I thought.
So we just need to move Lowell to the absent.
Correct.
Other than that, everybody was here for at least some portion of the meeting.
Yeah, besides those who had to recuse themselves.
Correct.
Right.
So everybody but Lowell. All right. That's what I thought. Leah, do you need to make me the, do you want me to make the motion again or?
No, that's fine.
Okay. Let's go back to informational briefings. I have a couple of things really quickly. If anybody else does, go ahead and raise your hand. But right now, I'm just going to fill you in on my stuff. I talked to David Villalobos the other day, this week. And he very kindly coordinated with me on the search for physical meeting space for when we finally get to the point where we're back meeting physically. He thinks he's found a place. It's in Santa Ynez. And looks good to me too. I think they're going to proceed on that and do whatever equipment changes, whatever else they need to do with the IT department. But I think our physical meeting location, we can expect to meet in Santa Ynez. I think we should be prepared to go back to in-person probably in February. Highly unlikely that it would be January because they've got some technical issues to work out. And again, the board members are really the only ones who are not able to attend remotely unless they wish to publish their location and allow members of the public to collect at that location. So that's the proviso for attendance. And we can discuss that later, but that's what I've got on that. We are probably going to be changing, since we can't seem to make this site visit thing function smoothly. We're probably going to be revisiting that as well. I also talked to Mr. Villalobos about that. So that's what we've got going on for in the future. So anybody have anything else? I don't see any hands. So
Madam Chair, I have
Yep.
the question if it's appropriate.
uh-huh.
I hope that we all are wanting to not have to do this remote thing anymore. I know we all are eager to not do it anymore. I just am, are we continuing to monitor? I guess we're following the county guidelines and whatever is happening at that time. Is it our goal to try to meet as of, say, February, as you reported, but it will be monitored and decided, carefully monitored?
No, we won't go back to in-person. We're not going to force it if that's not the recommendation of the county health department. So as long as the health department is saying, and as long as we're still making the findings every 30 days, that's what we're going to be doing.
Okay, they'll continue to monitor with the goal of hopefully.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just saying that, in the present circumstances as they exist right this instant, I think what we can expect is in person in February.
Okay.
And we may be masked. We may be sitting in there with masks on, but it'll probably be in person in February. That's kind of what my personal expectation is. And I'm putting it on my calendar so that I'm prepared.
Okay, thank you.
That,
Beth,
that,
any question?
yeah. Alan, did you have anything, or Puck?
Yeah, Beth, I got a question. Am I remembering correctly? You said when we get back together in person, you were buying lunch, everybody?
No, you didn't remember right. But that might be a carrot that gets used. All right, Puck.
No, I don't have any comments.
Okay. I do have a quick question. It just occurred to me, Leah. Do we need to make, because I don't think it's on the agenda. Do we need to schedule a meeting, a special meeting for later this month or the beginning of January so that we can meet our 30-day remote requirement?
Are you looking on reporting on the circumstances of
Yes.
that item? It's actually after staff update.
Oh, there it is right there. Thank you.
We might still need to do another special hearing. I'll double check the calendar. I don't have the exact dates for next year yet. We were waiting on finding a location for C-Bar. And
Yeah.
I think
I think David's got the dates. You could probably really quickly go out and do that while we do member recusals and staff update. And then, but yeah, if you could just double check for us real quick and make sure we're within the 30 days, that would be excellent. Because otherwise we can go ahead and set up a meeting now so that we all have it on our calendars, because our calendars are pretty smashed.
Okay,
So-
give me just a few minutes and I will go touch base.
Okay, go do that, and we'll finish up with the member briefings. Anybody else have anything else they need to speak to?
Bethany, I was just, the minutes finally did come up. It took a while and they were from August, so I'm not quite sure what was happening there.
Okay. Which are you following the link that, I don't know which link you had. So I think
I was just following the link that was sent in the one that,
the last email with the last link.
yeah, for all the
Yes.
all the information on today's agenda, etc.
Interesting, because mine worked fine.
Yeah, mine actually finally worked, but it took over an hour. So I'm not sure what's been going on there, but then oddly, the August.
Because I have
The August ones came up. So I don't know. That was,
is Cass and Puck, is that the Wednesday morning email?
I think so. I think it was the last one I got.
No, the last one you got is different. That was Thursday morning. And it says, here's the final version of the C-Bar agenda. That was the last one.
Oh, maybe I brought up the wrong one.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I'll be
Okay.
just vigilant and I'll try to do it. I did it when
Yeah.
I received it and then I had trouble. So I waited and then did it the next day and then it was, it worked, but then I ended up with the wrong
Yeah.
date. So I don't know. It's probably user error on my part, but I'll try to be more.
Well, I know that Box they've had some issues with controlling the access because we don't have sign-ins to Box, and it's a very complicated technical issue apparently. So yeah, I think that's might be what's happening. So I will I'll talk to staff outside of the hearing and just kind of try and track down with it, or at least make them more aware of what was happening. So, okay. Anything else? All right. Any member recusals today?
No,
This is Robin, and I'm recusing from number 4, Carlson.
Okay. Glad to see you, Robin. Your camera's on.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay,
you
turn
want-
it up.
And
Okay,
Bethany, I'm gonna have to flee at about 12:30.
Okay. We'll see if we can get through this more quickly then. Okay. So, staff update. Nicole?
Madam
Good
Chair,
morning. Go ahead. What was that?
sorry, Nicole. Do you mind if I hop in really quick?
Yeah, no,
Go ahead.
So, the scheduled meeting for January, I believe, is on the 11th. So we're just over that deadline. Do you guys have any availability on the 17th around 8:15?
Everybody check your calendar.
17th of what?
let me
Of
see.
December.
At
I'm around.
8:15.
At
Yeah.
8:15.
Yeah, I'm fine then.
Okay. Robin and Alan and Cass, you have a problem with 8:15 on the 17th?
should work for me.
I'm good.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and figure on 8:15 on the 17th. And Leah, if you could send us our invite at the appropriate time.
Yep, sounds good. And I'll also have to send you guys an agenda as well, since we have an official agenda.
Yes. Yep. There's an official one. Got it. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta sneeze. Sorry.
So I can go ahead and jump in if you'd like,
Okay.
Bethany. Okay,
Yes.
so Bethany had asked me so the Planning Commission got a briefing on SB 9 this week on December 8th. And I'm far from an expert, but I can give you a general overview of SB 9. And then I also, if you're interested, can send you a link to the YouTube video and tell you at what point during the meeting the overall briefing starts. But generally, overall, SB 9 will go into effect January 1st, 2022. It has to be implemented at that time. And what it does is it allows for the ministerial, or it requires the ministerial approval of 2-unit development on single family zoned parcels. So basically, if you had an undeveloped lot, you could put 2 SFDs on it, single family homes, or if you have a lot with 1 home, you could build a second home. This is for any single family zoned parcels. It also allows for the approval of urban lot splits. So again, in urban areas, single family zoned parcels, lots could be split into 2 lots, from 1 lot to 2 lots.
As a
These
ministerial
on
approval.
as a ministerial approval, they cannot involve any discretionary actions or environmental review. The county has the discretion to include, it sounds like the county has the discretion to include ADUs as one of the dwellings on these lots. But basically the situation is as of January 1st, 2022, either the county has to adopt regulations that we've created, or we have to adopt the state laws procedures. So we will not have county specific procedures by January 1st, 2022. It's not currently on the work plan for the long range planning division to do that work. The board may put that on. But so basically, as of January 1st, 2022, we're going to have to comply with that state law as it's written until the county adopts, anything more specific. So as it pertains to maybe ADUs. The other thing is we can only apply objective design standards, design criteria, which we do not currently have. So you guys know this better than me, but an example of objective design criteria would be, a set height limit for a certain area, or the set series of options as far as colors or something, but it can't involve any discretion, so that basically means no design review for these structures either. And then as far as denial of any of these requests, we can only deny them if there would be a significant and unavoidable impact to public safety that cannot be mitigated in any way. So if you are interested, there's a lot of accept this and plus this, and there's a lot of caveats to a lot of these things.
I was in and out. The reason I asked you to do this, Nicole, give us the brief on the brief, was because I was in and out of that hearing and only got to part of it. So I did watch the whole thing, and these are the high points of it. But as they go through the presentation, they start getting into, well, there are some exceptions for high fire areas, but those exceptions only, but you don't have to comply with those exceptions if you follow certain state criteria for materials and construction. And there's a lot of more detailed information on this, but what I've given you are the really broad overarching points, the sort of big deal components of it. And if anyone is interested in watching this, I can send out the YouTube link to the video. I think that would be nice if you just if you sent that, and then the time of where know that the discussion starts.
Yeah, it starts at 4 hours and 28 minutes. So I'll send that out to you guys. So that's SB 9. We didn't get a briefing on SB 10, but I did look it up because Bethany you said you're interested in that as well. And what I read up on that is it looks like it provides for up to 10 homes per parcel in transit-rich areas or urban infill sites, which I probably couldn't define for you right at this moment. But
it's all right, I couldn't either.
But it says it maintains local control, and a local legislative body must pass a resolution to adopt this plan. So it sounds like this just gives the county the option to add density in certain areas.
So it's really SB 8 and 9 that's directly going to impact our processes, the CBAR's processes.
Sounds like it, yeah. And it seems to me, I mean, between this and telecom and some of the other things you see, that we really do need to get some objective design standards in place to help everyone in the process. But stay tuned. That's all in LRP's hands at the moment, or potentially will be in their hands if the board directs them on that. So that's my update on SB 9. And then as far as other projects that are coming up that you may have some interest in, it looks like the Planning Commission is going to hear some information on January 12th about the safety element update and climate change vulnerability assessment. If you're interested in that, that's on January 12th. And then I think there was they've been
looking at the home hospitality or home produce. What is it called? Where you can make things at home and sell them.
Oh, when is that?
Sort of an agribusiness thing that's going on.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing that on the projection report, but maybe
it may have already happened just recently.
Okay.
But they've been talking about that. I've been getting emails about that. But
yeah.
But I was mainly interested in the impact that SB 8 and 9 would have. And we've talked about 8 previously. So,
Yeah, and then there's always a lot of appeals of cannabis projects, and so
sure.
up kind of your way, our way is there's the Penn's appeal of El Dorado Gardens cannabis cultivation going on February 2nd.
Okay.
So that is it for my update.
I just said one quick thing. Where is the redistricting now? Because that will affect our area, will it not, when they decide?
Well, Nicole, you want to answer that, or do you want me to dive in? And
I've looked at the maps, but and there was some discussion at the Planning Commission about how some things are going to change, but you probably know more about it than me, Bethany. So
I don't know that I know anything current about it, but Puck, you're talking about redistricting for the supervisor seats?
Yes, what our district.
Okay, so as when they originally split the BARs up, one of the things that came up is that the BAR district cannot be contiguous with any other supervisor's district. So while we are predominantly, for example, within the 3rd district, almost entirely, it's not entirely. Some of us, some of it's in the 4th district, and some of it's, it's in various different places. So, and I think one of the reasons is that as long as, so I would infer that if they change the 3rd district, because of population or whatever, and they start fiddling with things, then what's going to happen is that, our district wouldn't necessarily, our area wouldn't necessarily change unless it happened to be concurrent.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting to see if the Board of Supervisors does decide to change it after redistricting, but I don't think there's a legal requirement for them to do so.
Great.
So. Okay.
All righty.
Yeah, another spanner in the works. Okay, so Nicole, you're finished with the staff update?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go to V11, report on the circumstances of the COVID-19 state of emergency. Leah, you want to go ahead and
Yeah. Did you
we'll
need?
go ahead and do it. It's on the agenda, and then we'll we're just making a note here that we're also going to be reviewing this same item on the 17th. So why don't you just go ahead and read that into the record?
Okay, well, we need you to provide direction to staff. So
yep,
the motion that you should make is just to stay remote for the next 30 days and then to schedule a special hearing on December 17th.
Okay, so you're basically saying that your update at letter A is the update is that the health department has the recommendations are still to remain remote.
Yes, yeah, we have no further update. It's still the same letter as was seen
Okay.
in meetings.
Okay, so discussion in the group, do we have a problem staying providing direction to staff to continue remotely? Does anybody object? Can I go ahead and make a motion?
Yes.
All right.
No objection.
Okay, so Leah, I'd like to make a motion that we continue to remain remotely. Can I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. I think I heard Robin, Cass, Puck, and Alan, and myself. So that's all of us. All right. Okay, we did the site visit. It was available this morning. Did everyone get out to do the site visit sometime this week or this morning?
Yes.
No, I was not able to.
I was not able to either.
Puck,
No,
so Alan and I are the only ones that made it out. Okay. Let's take a look at the consent agenda. Item C1, the pharmacy SY cannabis retail storefront. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. So if the applicant wishes to go ahead and
Hello,
do
Madam
that.
Yeah, I'm here. This is Kent Mixon, architect. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I just, one quick clarification. I know you guys were just reviewing the minutes and you had made that question about the pole lighting. You are correct. We did remove the pole lighting from the parking lot and it is building mounted. I think the comment came up in the last meeting because I had a stray
Yep.
pole still on one of the security plans. So that's all been removed on the current
Okay.
set. So,
You want to go ahead and share your screen real quick and walk us through what you've got?
okay.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and read the minutes. And then I need to also state for the record, Nicole, that I did have an ex parte conversation with Mr. Mixon regarding the lighting.
Okay.
So we appreciated the presentation. Looks good, clean overall. White could be dulled down a bit to be less bright. Clarify lighting details to ensure dark sky compliant lighting and fixture location. Preliminary approval granted, return final on consent. All right, Mr. Mixon, go ahead and share your screen and let's get going.
Get this opened up here. All right. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, you might need to zoom in on specific
Yeah,
things you're
I'm
talking about, but
I'm going to
yeah.
zoom into the light fixture that we were talking about. We had
Okay.
we have the specs all kind of called
Perfect.
out here, of which package we were doing, the lighting, warmth, and so on and so forth, and that the on photo cells, and it is also a programmable light. That's our intention to have it on a program as well. But all the lights at those entryways and these lights will be on motion sensors also, so they're not on unnecessarily. I'll just skip here to the quick and come back to this page, but this was the security plan. We had a light fixture here and here, and you can see that those are removed based on your comment last, you caught those. And then in terms of the colors, we did look at the colors and we did change those. I'll zoom in here. You know, it's kind of hard digitally to look at these things sometimes. So I provided a reference actually of, you can see the one that has kind of a gray background so you can actually see it. That's actually a true white. The color that we're proposing has kind of a grayness to it. And as I mentioned last time, it doesn't, we got to be really careful about the whites because they go really pink or they get really yellow or get really kind of muddy brown or gray. So, but we're happy with that. And the trim I changed to a Dunn Edwards also. It's similar to what we had before, but it's also a black that matches the sash of the windows. So that's really it. I think those were the three comments that you guys.
So
made.
Mr. Mixon, it looks kind of dark gray on the screen, on my screen anyway. So is it more of a black or is it?
Are you talking about the
Yes.
dark color? Yeah, it's a black. It's actually called black. I'm sorry, I didn't put
Okay.
it on there, but I think let me see. I think it's on the previous page.
Okay, so if you could just go back, let's go ahead and zoom out enough that we can see the whole page, just barely the whole page. And then if you could start at the beginning of your set and just kind of flip through everything. There we
So
go.
that's our tabulations. These
Right.
are all this is the land use conditions and
Sure.
approval. some operation procedures and approvals, conditions. These sheets are just the California Green Building Code standards, these next three, so I'll
Yep.
just skip over that.
Keep going.
This is the signage that you saw last time. The site photos from around the area. These are the civil plans that you guys saw last time, with the proposed site changes.
But can you go back one? What's I noticed a
You know
couple of
what?
plans have that line
Yeah,
in
you know
them.
what? I think something didn't come through in the PDF. It looks like it got cut off for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, oh, you know what? That one did it too.
Yeah,
Oh.
we had some earlier ones that were like that.
Yeah, I don't know why it did that. I can correct that for an update Ray, our planner, with the new sets. And that, it looks like there were 3 of the civil that cut it off for some reason. This one did not. I'm sorry, I didn't catch that earlier.
Okay.
So, and then these are our architectural site plans, the existing site, the proposed site, our demo plan, again, mainly interior with exception of the windows, replacing
Okay.
our proposed floor plan, ceiling plan.
Okay.
The existing elevations, proposed elevations.
Okay, and so go back to the proposed real quick. So right now, when you're talking about the black, the actual trim around the windows, as shown in your elevation, is actually the body color. It's just the
Yeah,
black on the window itself, correct?
Yeah, and this I actually showed, I actually did kind
Okay.
of demonstration on it. So I'll zoom in here, kind of show you where the black accent is. It's the top cap trim at the top of that cornice on that false front, the gutter, and then just the sash of the windows, not the trim around the windows. And then
Okay.
the rest is matches the body, and that's consistent around the building.
Okay.
Zoom back out here. This is the page we were just looking at, our door and window schedules,
Mm-hmm.
door and window details, the handicap details. These are just our security plans that basically show all the interior cameras and the exterior cameras. And exterior lighting, which matches with our lighting package. This is just a blow up of the floor plan so you can see where the cameras are located. These are just the security specs for the different latches and the equipment required. This is I'm not sure. It looks like that one cut off too.
On
Oh,
the other
weird.
side.
Oh my gosh. And that one's blank. I don't know what happened. These are the structural plans. For some reason, they are.
I don't think we need the structural, so we're good on that.
So anyway, and then we have plumbing and mechanical as well.
Don't need
That's
those either, so
here. And then our electrical plans.
they should match. Those would be nice to see because they should match the exterior
they-
lighting.
They do. And then he has, well, I thought that was the schedule.
There's your
And then we have
landscape.
our landscape that you saw last time. So nothing changed on any of these plans.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay. Do we have any quick questions for Mr. Mixon? Can I move to public comment?
I have no questions.
I have no questions.
Okay. Mr. Mixon, why don't you put up on the screen the photo of your colors?
Oh yeah, you know, I can stop this and I can open up the other board.
Okay, while you do that, Leah, do we have any members of the public who need to who would like to comment?
Madam Chair, we do not have any requests to speak.
Okay. Board members, I only have one comment, and I'd like to make it a condition if I could. Instead of the 3,000 Kelvin warmth on the lighting fixtures, would it be acceptable to the applicant to put that at 2,700?
Yeah, I believe so. The thing I would like to do is just make sure our other fixtures can meet that, which most I think can now. So I
Yeah.
don't have a problem with that.
Well, the one you had called out seemed to have it as an available call out there. So,
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that would be a problem.
okay. So, anybody like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda? Yeah, unless there's any further comment?
I would like to move to approve.
Okay.
and thank the applicant.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second,
Okay. Any further discussion?
I've got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
Are the files that we're looking at, the files that were available?
Yes.
Okay,
Or at least they match what's in box. Is that your question?
that's the question.
Yep. Nope. They match what's in box, complete with the cutoff pages and everything.
Sorry about that.
So, I mean, I could tell it was exactly the same set.
I don't know why it did that.
I've had it do that. It's when you process it to be a PDF. Sometimes it gets choked up on memory and it just cuts it off. It's annoying because you
I'll
don't
look for
catch
that
it
from now
usually
on,
until
'cause,
you're
yeah, until
showing
you're-
it to somebody and it's like,
Yeah.
oh crap. Yeah. Nope. Done that before. Got the shirt and hat.
Right.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alan, you want to vote?
I said aye, sorry.
Thank you. Okay, so let's go to the standard agenda, which is item number 1.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Item number 1, 21 bar 77, Novat Equestrian Facility. I think we have applicant present.
Yeah, hi Bethany.
Hey,
Brett
Mr.
Jones
Jones.
here with Gordon Statler, the architect.
Okay. Would you go ahead and start sharing your screen, and I will go ahead and read the comments, and please restrict your presentation to what was submitted because I will be watching.
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so the comments from last time were that we agree with the applicant that the location of the RV parking is problematic given its prominence in the view shed. Parking appears to all be located in one location instead of being thoughtfully dispersed throughout the site. Restudy. The reception hall should be more emphasized in its relationship to existing and proposed development. Low profile of structures is appropriate for the site. Agree with the applicant's assessment that the horse stalls are too long and linear. Provide details on the style of the 2 barns previously permitted. Provide more information on pedestrian circulation throughout the site. Need to understand how all the project elements are connected. Study outdoor spaces and how they tie into rest of development, perhaps with an eye toward the type of events that are intended to be held on site. Provide a conceptual landscape plan, depict existing tree masses. Visit the site, site visit with staking of main buildings, RV and parking and main parking area, and story poles for the arena and reception hall at corners will be required. Okay, so I believe you complied with the site visit parameters, although I understand why the new reception hall wasn't staked. It's because there's a building currently on site, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And although it would have been helpful if any of the stakes had been outside of the building, if we could have had them. just for reference and understanding how it fit on the site, but I understand limitations too.
Sorry,
Okay.
Bethany, Gordon's saying that those stakes actually are there. We just this morning were hustling with you and we didn't go back that direction.
Oh, they're in the back and behind it. Well, that explains why I didn't see them. All right.
They're short stakes. They weren't story poles. They were just short stakes.
Ah, okay.
But they are there.
Okay. All right. Brett, go ahead. You guys want to do your presentation?
Sure. Yeah, I'll start and then Gordon can finish up. So following your meeting, our last meeting, which I guess was September, October, I can't remember which.
September.
We went to the Ag Preserve Advisory Committee because the property is within the Williamson Act, and they were very concerned about us spreading out beyond, especially on this upper plateau, any new development, because we've got a limitation to, we have a certain amount of irrigated pasture we need to maintain. So even though we had always planned the reception hall, it just kind of reinforced that this is where it needs to go. So we're really trying to cluster development in this area. So the changes we've made is that a new entry coming in here. There was a super old shade structure in this location that we removed. So this will be the new entry, parking here, permanent parking here. And then we have some overflow parking here. And the majority of the overflow parking with the trucks and trailers will be down below the bluff on this lower portion. So you'll see an area here and an area here. So there will no longer be any proposed truck and trailer parking up above near the highway. So all of this will be down on the lower portion. Here is the arena that is currently now with the story poles. You will see the roof, but it really sits in there quite nicely. And the two structures that had previously been approved have now been built, and they are down below Bethany, as you saw those today. And then we had two long buildings in this area. We have split those up into the 6 smaller buildings down here. Gordon, anything else you want to add?
Well, I think you pretty well covered it. I think the RV parking that was up above, which was bad, is really gone now. We just decided not to do that. So what we're the only thing that's up there now is event parking, which is not fixed parking. It's just open field, open grass, and then basically just the idea of moving that drive was related to the concept of this thing is really focusing on the Porch Ranch and the openness, the river, those types of things. So we brought that entry up. So as you come in, you get the view of that big pasture, and then you turn the corner and the focus is really not the building, it's the view out to the river and beyond. And so, I mean, we did look at playing around that building, but it just seemed like it made sense there to be able to focus on the river, and then the long porch in the front of that building, glass doors. So everything orients out to the rear.
You want to show us the floor plans and the rest of the?
Sure. I don't think we had any change on
nothing changed. We didn't change any of that. But that kind of shows the patio and the orientation of the direction of that building. We expanded a little bit on the site circulation, but we really wanted to kind of make sure that everyone agreed with this direction before we went into the landscape. Did more work in that, but it just really felt like this is the right orientation for this thing. So we did. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so Bethany, one of the comments was the landscaping. We didn't do any more on landscaping until we got
Just keep walking us through this, and then we can get to our comments.
Okay.
Let's see, circulation, events, landscape plan. Basically, that's it. And then we did break down the structure. You could scroll down to the next one. That's so we had some long buildings. These are small, but now there's 6 smaller buildings for the horse stalls down below.
What's the length on these?
Those, it's 120 feet.
Okay. Dimensions are always helpful.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. It's in the one.
It's just kind of skinny. I don't know why this
yeah.
is a small scale on a big piece of paper.
So if I go back, those are these guys here.
Right.
Yep.
think that was pretty much everything.
Yeah, and I think the rest of the set is looks like it's more engineering.
Yeah, septic and yeah, some grading, which we haven't finalized yet. So I think that's it.
Okay. Any questions from the board before we go to public comment?
Madam Chair, I have a question.
You shoot.
Can we see the photographs again to show us how that, you know, the view down toward the river that you were explaining? Could we just look at those existing photos again? I think you had them last time.
Let's see here.
I can have Leah. Leah, could you pull those up?
What
Do I
is
need
it?
to stop sharing?
If she needs to share, she'll just grab it from you. The September meeting, submittal for this project, they had some photographs in their file, their box.
Okay, give me just a few minutes. I need to log in from the laptop. I can't run any other programs while Zoom is running on this computer. It's not an actual.
Gotcha.
It's just
Okay,
like.
while you're doing that, just to confirm, so the existing parking is a paved parking there, is that correct? And then the other larger parking that you were saying is going to be just an open field, that larger area that's the sort of unusual shape there. That one, yeah, that's just a field, right? That can be
Correct.
parking when needed, but no paving or anything like that. It's just
That's correct.
right. And then that existing parking on either side of the road, that is paved.
This is proposed to be, yeah.
When you turn in, it says
That's existing pasture, hun.
existing. And I'm sorry I didn't get out there, but which of course this would be obvious, but so that is that paved?
That's existing pasture, not parking.
Oh, okay, got it. And then, okay, thank you. I can't, it's very small. So then we have the new drive coming in with the turnaround. And
Correct.
that is paved, that part right there. Yes?
They're calling out DG, but yes.
Okay, okay. All right, well then just the, and then same thing over here for the new 20-foot wide fire access driveway to the arena. Is that, what is the material on there?
This likely, this section here, Cass, when you drop down, will
Yeah.
likely have to be paved.
Okay, okay.
So I think in this section here, we probably, trip that 10% rule for paving.
Right.
And then it comes and lands down below for this area, and then it would not be paved down here.
Right, okay.
And where it runs along the proposed the length of it, it's just when it goes down the hill that it would
Correct.
have to be paved.
That's
But
right.
that most of that length that's along the ledge down
Correct.
there, so it wouldn't need it. So you'd probably do something gravel or something like that. Is that what are you
Thinking
Yes, yeah, that would be the plan, gravel.
something very
Where
natural.
we have the slope.
Yeah.
Yep.
That entire lower section would be.
Okay.
And just so everybody knows, that road is actually, that route is actually already there, pretty much.
And it's down below the bench.
Yep.
so You don't
Yeah.
even see that from up above.
Okay.
Right. And
Okay.
and I did see it today. We went down and I could see it from above.
Okay, great.
I had to stand on the fence, but I could see it.
You can describe the view of the river.
Yes, it's much more pleasant to look at the river. I can affirm. So I can tell you, Alan was out there. I was out there this morning actually and walked in along that new entry drive, yes, and then through the pasture where the parking is, and then we walked over, down in there, and looked down at the arena. So and the fencing for the pastures, it's very faint. You can't really see it on the plan. In fact, I didn't think they had it on the plan, but they do. Will continue to remain, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
So up above, basically there's, you've got the proposed future AED, but other than that, in the reception hall, you'll see the top of the arena. And can we ask you to keep the story poles up at least through the weekend and through to say Tuesday?
Sure, we'll keep the cows out of there.
Okay, because that'll allow everybody, that'll allow a full week, which is
Sure.
usually what we like.
Not a problem. We'll leave everything up the way it is right
Yeah.
now.
And okay, so that's the end of questions. Anybody else have anything else, member of the board?
Unless they can get those pictures, if that's
Leah?
possible.
Did you find the pictures? Here we go.
Oh, great.
So that's at the entry. The structure you see there is gone now in front here.
Right.
Are those the existing pastures?
Yes.
Okay.
And Lee, if you go back to the first one. So that structure that Brett was talking about, that's gone, and that's the Brett, that's roughly the entry path right through there, and
That's correct.
Yeah, that's
So-
exactly where it is, right down.
yeah,
this-
just this side of it. So go to the next one, Leah. And that is standing in the same location, looking down towards Buellton on Avenue of the 246. Go to the
Correct.
next one.
That's the existing single family dwelling.
Mhm.
Keep going.
Same. So that's up above, then looking kind of the view of the reception, looking out towards the river on the upper bluff.
Which
So
Okay.
this is good.
I was gonna say, which is now green, that is irrigated, and then this is that upper bench area in front of the reception hall. Right now, there's a road that runs across it, but ultimately there won't be any traffic. That whole area will just be a big lawn area that goes over and just drops off that bench, looking
Okay.
out across this and back to the river.
So this is east of where we were today, Bethany,
Okay.
up on the bluff. So and there's this structure to be removed and where the reception building will be.
And this is sort of generally, this is the back side of it, looking more towards the north.
Correct. That
No, this
No.
is the backside looking south towards the river.
and that's the road that will go away.
Wait, so to be clear, so if I was standing at that building with my back to the building, I would be looking toward the river.
Correct.
Yes, that's
So
what I
that will
meant.
be the new front facade of the new building.
Exactly.
Got it.
Okay.
And this road you see in the foreground will be gone.
Okay.
And that porch does wrap around the other end as you come up, so it's
Right.
not like as you drive up, you're looking at the back of a building. It kind of wraps around.
And this guy?
That guy remains.
He's gonna get updated a little bit.
And then the road down below is to the right of this picture, right behind the white truck is where you stop dropping down.
Goes behind it and then drops down.
Are these, will in our future review, is that planned to be painted or in the upgrades to that?
Yes, we're gonna refurbish that.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
think you should probably include those drawings
Sure.
in future submittals.
Okay.
Yeah, we may sandblast it and make it natural or paint it, but
Well, whatever you decide to do, some architecturals would be, drawings would be nice.
okay, sure.
yeah,
Okay.
it's a cool old building for sure.
Yeah. This
Hope
is
it
dropping
doesn't fall
down.
Before then.
Okay. That's where you would turn. So go back to that one, Leah. Okay,
but-
so
Actually-
so the arena is kind of on the right edge, and the barns that have been built are kind of like the third tree from the right in that general area. Am I
Sort of straight
inferring?
ahead, kind of straight ahead.
Not straight ahead, but towards the right edge.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, and the
Exactly
three,
right.
they're stacked, the 6 of them, or 7, is it?
Those are the ones those are the stalls that would be built. That would be going along that property line, in the next pasture past that fence line. You can just barely see, but
Okay, back down there,
The
way
lighter
down there.
area, yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
And, but right on the corner of the pasture, which is where those 2 or 3 trees are all together,
mhm.
that mass,
left.
that's where the 2 barns have been built. You can
Okay.
see those.
The replacements, yeah.
Yeah, and then the arena would be just barely kind of on the right-hand side. All right, next one.
That's the existing farm employee dwelling up above. It's to remain.
Yeah, that's back behind the reception hall and the other building that's painted those same colors, right?
Actually, this one is the other, it's on the other side of the roundabout. This is on the west side.
West side.
Oh,
of the-
that one. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
So
So you'd
this
see
is-
this from the parking pasture.
Yes.
Actually, well, this is actually west, so you don't see this, you see the other end of it.
Right, correct. But you see the structure. This is the
Correct. Yeah,
structure you see.
exactly.
Okay. Last one.
That's the same structure, the east side of it now.
That's what you would see from the reception building.
Okay. All right. Does that help everybody?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Yes.
All right. Leah, do we have any members of the public for this item?
Andy, would you like to make a comment on this item? Madam Chair, I don't believe we have anybody who would like to speak.
Okay. All right. So, Brett, if you could share your screen again, would be great. And then, any board comments?
I just have one comment. I like the entry drive, and I'm pretty familiar with these river views, so I think the way it's laid out and having that experience when you first drive in is really good. I do think the paving should be, I know it's probably just on there just saying DG, but DG is not an effective driving material, especially for a circular turnaround. So I think that needs to be restudied, and I'd like to see the applicant avoid B-Rock at all costs just because of the dust.
It is
That-
incredibly dusty.
Dust concerns. I just think it's not a healthy material. And
But some
requires
form of gravel or something else that,
just what they're using, because
Yeah.
I think it will impact the environment and aesthetically as well. So
Yep.
those are my only comments. I like the changes.
okay. I'm going to jump in and then I'll come back to the board. I agree wholeheartedly with Puck's comments about the paving materials. I think the paving materials, as far as materials go, are is the one thing that really needs some further thought. As far as your pathway up to the reception hall, your accessible pathways, all that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty positive you're not going to be able to do DG handicap parking spaces.
You know, that I was listening to your earlier comments and it
Yep.
that dawned on me, yeah, that's not gonna work, so.
No, I think they're going to require you to do, if you're going for something that's still permeable, I think you're going to have to do some kind of permeable paver.
Right,
just for accessibility, you know, something that won't catch a crutch or a wheel on a wheelchair or something like
Yes,
that, you know.
Yes, and that the comment on the roundabout, obviously, that's right.
Yeah.
Wheels
Yeah,
are
you might
push-
consider that, because the roundabout could, you know, it's all going to tie in as you start developing your landscape. If you're speaking to landscape architect or designer,
Sure.
they may have some thoughts about how to pull that together in a way that gets you a lot of bang for your buck and still makes a nice presentation and meets all your requirements.
Right. And
Anyway.
the walkways would be concrete separate for flat work. Too.
Yeah.
Those would not be easy.
So with that, I do echo Puck's comment about the entry drive, the new entry drive. I very much appreciate that orientation. I like the fact that you've moved the trailered larger vehicles down into below, you know, off of the plateau, if you will, that's up there on 246. And I can aver, having been out there, that you're not going to see any of those vehicles from 246. You probably won't even see them from the parking area. I'm a little I'm going to drive by again and take a look at the story poles for the arena. I really wish that instead of staking around, you know, the existing structure that's here where the reception hall is going to be, I really wished you'd been able to do some story poles, even if they'd been on the south side of the building, because there are some oblique views through here. And that's why we asked for the story poles of the reception hall, not just staking.
That was my.
Yeah, I understand. Let me just go ahead and not derail my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
No worries. The pasture area here for the parking of cars, you know, that's I have personally been directing traffic for those kinds of things, but that's a site management issue when you have an event. And so, you know, you've got plenty of pasture to accommodate your vehicles. I would like to know how this AED, ag employee dwelling, how do you get to it? I mean, how do they drive in? Where's their front door? How's that oriented? So, you know, just kind of keep working on connecting your spaces together and, you know, your circulation on site, so that, you know, all of the buildings are kind of graphically, your access ways are graphically depicted, and that's true even down here. And you might in turn darken your fence lines, because it's kind of hard to follow them on the plan unless you really zoom in. They're just not very dark.
Had some problems with PDF line weights there.
Yeah, no worries. But so those are my comments. All in all, I agree with Puck. I think it's moving forward. It looks really good. So go ahead and continue on. Cass, do you have any comments?
I agree with what you have said, and I think it's moving along well. I like the changes that have been made, and I like how the hierarchy, and would agree with your comments about the site circulation, not only for automobiles, but for pedestrians, for people wanting
Correct.
to walk down and, you know, go down to the arena and such. So I agree with what has been said, and I appreciate the work.
Okay, that's a good catch too on the pedestrians. That's an important connection. Robin.
My only question was the access around the proposed restroom, the pedestrian access. So, and I concur with all the other comments.
Yeah, and that should be caught in your general circulation plan.
Sure, but we'll develop all that
Yep,
detail. as we go
sure.
along. Yeah.
I realize that it's still conceptual. Just let me get through my comments here. Alan?
I think you guys got it covered for me. Thanks.
Okay, so that's the whole board. How do
Oh,
we want to
one-
see them return?
Madam Chair?
Yep.
I just thought of one other thing. Is there any kind of signage or gateway from, at the entry that is part of this, that will announce the, this facility.
I think there's an entrance gate here. So I think what we should do is request that entrance gates, either existing or proposed, that they submit architectural information on those, including lighting.
Mhm.
And lighting should be a part of your next steps. We're going to want to see how you're doing your site lighting as well as the lighting around the buildings. Okay. Anything else, board? How do we want to see them return? Go ahead, Puck.
I think because of the scale of the project, I'd like to see them come back at preliminary.
Okay. Cass?
I agree.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So yeah, why don't you return preliminary? We'll landscape plan, further circulation, some more thought and specificity regarding materials and connections, and then as well as your landscape, wherever you're proposing new trees or existing trees, the entrance treatment, entrance gate, and how all that flows together. And then we'll see you then.
Great. Can I make a quick comment? I wanted to,
Sure.
I just wanted to thank, I'm not sure which member brought that whole issue up of the orientation of the rec building, because what it did is the location stayed the same, but it triggered my ability to go back to client and say, hey, we can't keep using this existing road, which was something that I wanted to change anyway. So that, I appreciate that. That forced us to step back and say, we need to make this better than it is. And so I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
I was looking at an older note that specifically said they didn't need to be there, but I could get a ridge line up there. So I apologize for not having it in there. I wasn't looking. So
You're talking about the story poles?
No, what I said is I was looking at an earlier note that didn't say that, but I'm saying I could get something up for you guys within the next.
That would be excellent. And if you could put it up and then just let staff know.
Okay. Maybe just a ridge line of that building.
We had asked for the corners and perhaps ridge line, if you can do it, if that can be accommodated, that would be excellent, because I think, and then if they can be up for a week along with the arena poles, if they can continue to stay up, I realize it's a functioning.
It's okay.
But if you can do that, that would be wonderful, and just let us know as soon as they're up.
So I'll get the corner for story. We're actually story poles at corners.
Thank you.
Get the ridge up. We'll get that.
All right.
Madam Chair.
You comment on that. We are actually going to move that. We're not sure exactly where, but it's not going to float out there in the middle of nowhere like it is now. So that's going to go somewhere back over by the other buildings, I think.
That's fine. We'll look at it next time, but I need to kind of move to the next item.
Thank you.
One last question. If he could please let Leah know.
Yes.
And then Leah could let us know when they're there so we can know when to go
Yeah,
up.
and I was just going to say that, Brett, you need to contact Leah in hearing support or David Villalobos in hearing support to let us know when they're up. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item
Thank
number
you.
2, 21 bar 167, Matthew Givens cannabis cultivation. Do we have anybody present for this particular item?
Hi, Bethany, this is Ben Singer, the planner. I'm here. I believe Amy Taylor, the agent and architect, is also in the video call.
So if Ms. Taylor can coordinate with Leah, you coordinate with her, go ahead and get this up. While you guys are doing this, I'm going to go ahead and read the minutes. And I think you're here. Ben, is there a reason they're still here for further conceptual?
Yes, it's because it's a conditional use permit, and since they haven't been approved by the planning commission, we're just going through conceptual.
So we're taking it to preliminary, and when we say we would give this preliminary, then they can move on to the planning commission, correct?
Correct.
All right. Okay. So it would be okay to liven up the appearance of the farm stand to make it more of a centerpiece. Would like specification. Actually, I think I said provide specifications and location of path lights, but it's really all lighting. Path lights, I think we're just missing in the original. Fencing is acceptable. Hoop house is okay in its current location. Return for further conceptual review. All right.
Hi, this is Amy Taylor. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, thank goodness. Good morning.
Good morning. You want to go ahead and show us if you've made any changes, essentially address the comments first.
Yes, so I just put up the overall plan to remind everybody the project, the context. And the main things we're looking at are over here at the farm stand. And then there's a little bit of lighting down here at the cannabis site. So I can, let me see, where am I going? So this is the farm stand. And I do have a color board, and over here are the color specifications. And then at our last meeting, I had suggested maybe using pass type light fixtures for Matt's kind of nighttime emergency, having some ambient lighting near his equipment. What I found is that the path lighting, it wasn't really giving enough light. So what I'm suggesting instead is a smaller pole light. You know, it only needs to be about 7 feet or so high with a little can attached to it. So it would be fully screened and just have a small area of lighting. And I can show you that fixture. So it's basically this little kind of can down light. It's a down only light for that one. This is the bigger pole light at the gates, and I can go to the lighting plan. So the bigger lights are here and here at our 2 perimeter gates, and then the littler poles are here and here. You know, kind of specifically to give him a little ambient when he pulls up to the parking, get into the equipment room in here. We also have equipment along the fence line here. So I think with those 2 and using his headlights, he probably will have enough ambient to get emergency nighttime work taken care of. So those are that. Let's see, I'm going to, how do I switch? New share. Okay, here's the, oh, here, let's go here first. So these were the photos of the farm stand, and actually I just resubmitted the photos because I had an old residual thing in this project name, so I just tidied it all up. Anyway, I've added this additional closer in photo to show that, because these photos don't really show how the plants are being established. This is an older photo, almost 2 years ago now. And basically he's got these vines are starting to come up and over. So the overall theme is to have a green appearing farm stand. However, with that, I'm going to switch again. So on this, what we're showing, this one is sort of the color for overall containers, but then at the farm stand, we're going to go ahead and use some of the natural wood like they've got, and then kind of pop the shed with an orangish reddish color, and then use sort of a golden accent on fascias and some other areas. And then also develop new signage under a separate proposal that will work with this color scheme. And then he does have kiwi vines and some other plants that are becoming more established at the front facade of that. So if I go back to the drawing, let's see, where did my elevation go? Oh, so up here, kind of where in the photo, there's sort of a dull greenish on brown painted sign. This sign will come in for review at a later date with some of the brighter colors in it. And then basically the shed will be painted the brighter color, and we'll use some of those golden colors to pop it, fascias and whatnot. They didn't really want to get into a lot of painting maintenance on the posts and trellis, and that's why I think that their strategy of using the plant cover is going to work really nicely for you know, the sort of organic farm stand appeal that they're going for. So I think that is it, unless I've missed anything. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Amy. Board, do we have any questions from the board?
I'm good.
I have one question.
Yes, Cass.
Do you have a rendering of the farm stand with the colors on it? That would help.
Oh, I apologize. I do not have that.
Okay.
Cass or Bethany, I have a question about the lighting.
Yep.
When Amy, you were saying was required to make sure he had sufficient light for emergency operations. Is that
yeah.
I was just wondering, like, how long these lights would be on. I mean, in some other cases where we've had the need for emergency lighting, it's on a timer. It's really only on for emergencies. It's not on like every night. So I just wondered if there could be some lighting that
I think that's a question for Ben, if we could have a condition, and then whether the applicant would be amenable to that.
Well, just to let you know, all lighting is required to be on motion sensor only.
Okay.
Yeah, that is correct. For cannabis lighting, it's supposed to be motion sensor on a timer only.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Okay, but
yeah,
you just said on a timer, Ben?
Correct.
So it's motion,
well,
it's motion activated, but then it turns off after a certain period of time, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Puck?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, Leah, do we have any public comment?
We do not have any requests to speak.
Okay. And Amy, these are the plans that were submitted. I was flipping through as you were going through your application, but can you confirm that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Down here is down here is the date.
That's the submittal.
Match.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Board, do we have any comments?
I just have a comment about colors. I think in this location, this rural location, and I appreciate the bright sort of agrarian colors, but I think it would benefit the project if one bright color was picked and then there was a transitional color to the more green elements of the vines and things on the building, and just to sort of quiet it down a little bit. It's nice to have a bit of pop, but I think the red and the yellow together, I feel are just a bit too much. But if on the next submittal, you're proceeding with an elevation, a rendered elevation with the correct colors, I'd be happy to look at it. But at this point, I'm envisioning something that's for that environment, that part of the county. I just feel it's maybe a little bit too bright.
Okay. Cass?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think just the yellow could be really nice, or the red, but not both. And then with the signage, that might be where you could use, pop it out there. So I agree with what Puck has said.
Okay. Robin?
I concur.
And Alan?
Nothing to add. Looks good.
Okay. Board, do aside, if it wasn't for the colors, we would have no problem saying we were ready to grant preliminary.
Yes.
I'm okay
Yes,
with that.
I agree.
Okay, so should we go ahead for further steps? Because the next step would be for this to go to the next decision maker, Planning Commission, for their review and then return to us for preliminary. How do we want to coordinate that moving forward with the color choices?
May I make a suggestion?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. So on the photo here, the yellow was really just to do tiny lines like at the fascia, but that color could easily be swapped for just a white trim color. So
And
it'd
where
be
would
kind
where
of
would the red be?
the red is the walls of the little shed building.
Okay, and trim would be the same as the body color, the red?
On the shed, yes.
Okay. So board, do we have is that acceptable, or do we want to come up with something else right now so that they can move forward to Planning Commission?
I'm
Well,
okay with it.
if I could offer, I would rather see, a bright color on the building itself. I think either one of those colors could be nice, but the trims should be dark in my mind, and then go with, like, if you did the red and then do a dark color for that trim of the fascias, and then do maybe the yellow on the signage with the actual letters of the signage. I think that could be very attractive. I mean, even in this picture we're looking at, the bright red of the geraniums or whatever those flowers are there. I think that emphasizes the natural siding. So I don't think I'm not excited about white up there. I think it should recede more and just kind of accentuate the shape of the structure itself, like a barn or something that you would see in the valley.
Okay, Puck?
I agree with exactly what Cass said. I was looking for a more recessive color to be a counterpoint to the brighter colors. And yeah, yellow on the sign and red just makes sense on the building to me.
Okay, Robin?
I agree.
Okay, Alan and I have no problem. So it's between you three ladies and Amy. If you guys can work out a color scheme then this can go on to preliminary. But I actually have no problem. I would actually, yeah, it's fine either way, yellow or white with those edge trim and a red body, and then either the yellow or white for the sign, I think would be just fine. And Alan?
I agree. I mean, I don't think it's going to make any difference, to tell you the truth. It's so small for the whole property. How much of it's going to be seen?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I would
Robin
argue
and Puck and Cass.
if I could, this is a really important little building, and we're trying to accentuate it. That was the whole idea, was to really make it a little, magical, entry structure. So I think it is very important, even though, it's the little punctuation mark.
Okay,
at
Amy?
the entrance.
Yes.
Ms. Taylor, so what I'm hearing from the board, a majority of the board, is that this would be just fine to move ahead with either a white or a yellow on a sign. The red color you have proposed for the body, and then potentially a darker color, a red or something like that, a dark red or a brown or something like that, and a more understated color for the trim on that building to accent the red. Do you have a problem with that? Is that acceptable?
No, not at all. As you can see, there's a lot of natural wood that they'd like to maintain.
Okay.
So really, all of this could stay natural. They already have sort of some brown trims here.
Right.
I think that's the fascia right now may be white, but it could easily go to the brown. So really the
body
palette, the palette would
Okay.
be red on the shed, a little bit of darker trim that kind of works with the natural wood, and then go with the yellow and or red on the sign to help it pop out.
Yeah, I think yellow is, given the distance from the road, I think yellow is your best bet, but that's up to you guys what you want to do. Okay. Board, is that acceptable?
Yes.
All right,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Singer.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Singer, you got
my
that?
pleasure.
Yes, that sounds good to me.
Okay, because that's what she's going to move forward with. It doesn't need to come back to us. We've worked out the color scheme, so she can take that color scheme as just stated to the planning commission or whoever the next decision maker is.
Sounds good.
Okay, and so you'll return to us preliminary, full board. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, you have a great day.
You too. Take care.
Okay, item number 3, and I'm gonna mangle this. Lux Guest House, 21 bar 237.
Good morning. Yeah, that's Laux.
Laux. Okay, I had to punt, Tony.
All right. Well, that was close. Good morning.
Okay, so are you gonna start sharing your screen, Tony?
Yes, ma'am. Let's see here. I think I am here.
Leah has to let you do it, so it may take a minute for the software to show up. There we go.
Okay, you don't need that screen.
Nope.
Okay, let's see here. Orient myself. Good morning, everyone. This is our site plan here at 731 East Highway 246. We're up on the upper knoll, if you will, from the straits heading between Buellton and Solvang. This is our heavily wooded site with a main residence. We're proposing the guest house here. So I'll go to my larger site plan.
Can you show us 246?
Yeah, so 246 is, pardon me, is further down here beyond this large parcel. I'm sorry, I don't have an overall or a master plan, but 246 is to the south.
Tony, excuse
Yes.
me, where is the access to this property? Is it off Ballard Canyon Road?
No, it's right off of 246. This is north of Flag is Up Farm, so it's part of that larger parcel there.
Tony, I'm gonna grab your screen in just a second.
All right.
Because I think I've got a Google Earth if it'll load. If it loads here, I'll grab the screen because I think for myself I need to see where we're at.
Yeah, if this helps here over my vicinity map, I can zoom in on that a bit. So 246 here in Solvang. This is the straights or the narrows, if you will, between Buellton and Solvang. Flag is up here to the north of 246, and the parcel we're looking at is on the most northerly portion of the parcel.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yep. All right. Keep going.
All right. So this is just my site data. Our proposals for 735 square feet inside walls. So we're right at the 800 square foot for the guest house, and another 235 square feet for the covered porch and patio. Here are my site photos. So this photo one would be standing here in the gravel drive looking east. So you're seeing an existing garden wall and a parking slab here. Beautiful olive tree, which we plan to relocate to the center median, which is here in photo 3. Photo 2, as I zoom in a bit, is a photo of the front entryway, and this is a beautiful Cliff May original that the owners had built some time ago. And you can see there's quite a population of deer, so it's very it's a beautiful, serene setting. Here's our island. Photo 4 is the backside of this garden wall. We plan to maintain that drainage swale, obviously. Our structural would be positioned where the slab is. And again, the covered patio or porch will be here where the current olive tree is. I've included some detailed photos of the existing dwelling. We want to match some of the texture plaster here, beams and outriggers, just really borrow on this same concept that Cliff May had designed years ago. We'll do the same thing with the brown standing seam metal roofing. There'll be minimal landscape. I see maybe just some small shrubs and so forth in front of the structure. This was the best example I could find of sort of the grape stake idea that we'd like to use for some window screening along the front of the building. So with those in mind, I'll zoom out a bit. Here's the position of the proposed guest house relative to the existing main house. I had shown you pictures of the median. The olive tree, which is currently here, we'd like to move that out here as a complement to the remaining or the other trees that currently exist there. Here's that garden wall that I spoke of. So just to give you some orientation, that's where we've positioned the building. Also, we've got this peekaboo view through here out to the east. Most of these trees are very dense, as you had seen in my site photo there. So this, going back to photo 1 again, pardon me for jumping around here. Here's our peekaboo view sort of to the southeast, I'd say. And then here's the existing olive tree, oak trees. All right. Now on to our elevations. This is our floor plan and elevation here, which would be facing the gravel drive. This is where that current olive tree is located. Here's our front elevation with some clear story glass. And as I zoom in, we'd like to use some grape stakes to sort of screen this window here just for added privacy. This is a walk-in entry porch with some skylights just to bring a little natural light into this small corridor. I'll show you here on the floor plan. So this entryway actually projects in as a roof-covered entry porch. Very simple floor plan, single room, fireplace, and so on. This is our rear elevation. Again, peekaboo view through here. This here will be covered with that dense olive grove there. Excuse me, I keep saying olive. Oak grove that's right here along the back of this garden wall. This being the backside, our olive tree would be here, which will be relocated to the median. This is our covered patio, which will be a beam work and nice roof overhang to mimic the existing main house. Garden wall, and then the dense olive grove, oak grove, pardon me. And then this is the opposite north-facing elevation of the guest house. Building section, and that kind of wraps up a rather quick overview of the project.
Okay. Any quick questions from the board? I can share my screen and show where we are if anybody wants to see a representation of where it comes in off of Highway 246.
Do I need to stop the share on my
No,
end?
I
Bethany?
just grab it from you.
Okay, all right.
Madam
I'd
Chair,
like to see that,
Oh,
Bethany.
go ahead, Puck, you go first.
Yeah,
I-
here, this is, this, you should be seeing it now. So this is 246. This is Cana Winery. This is the project we looked at earlier here. So flag is up. It's right here. This is the driveway access up, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct.
And then this is the area we're looking at. This is actually right where
Yes, that's right.
he's showing the guest house. Does that help?
That's it.
Could you zoom out again? I just.
Yep.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So it comes in here
Yeah, long access drive. Uh-huh.
from 246.
Right.
Wow.
This is that track, and then these are the fields on the flats.
Yeah. And then. Okay.
Okay. Any other quick questions?
I had a couple questions, if we could go back to the elevations.
Do you want to save it for deliberation?
I just
Or
have a question
Okay.
before that.
okay, go ahead, Tony. Go ahead and grab the screen.
Do I do a screen? Okay, I see. Says stop screen share. I want to continue. Yes. Okay, is that Robin that was commenting, or?
No, this is Cass.
Yeah.
That's Cass.
Oh, okay. Good morning. Hey there.
Cliff May's my favorite of all. Could you talk about on the rear elevation, are these all, talk about these windows, or are they windows or sliding glass doors? What, can you talk about that a little bit, please?
Yeah, I think at this point we have a combination. So, there's not much room here on the backside, but for the most part, we'd probably have an operable door in the center of each of these rooms, this being the living, this being the bedroom. And I imagine these would be fixed.
So they're all, okay, so there's a combination of sliders
Yes,
and fixed.
fixed panels, correct.
And it's going all the way across like that.
It is.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay, and then on the left side, the clear stories, is that the living room area?
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay, all right, and then the overhangs are 3 feet, is that right?
Correct.
And those are matching what's over on the existing building?
No, so I think the other on the Cliff May are extended overhangs. And, I felt it was necessary here on the front and rear elevation to extend them to try to more closely match what was done on the original Cliff May.
Mhm. So these are these, the Cliff May is more than 3 feet then, or less?
It is more than 3 feet. If I
Okay,
can,
so this is
if I can
more
show,
proportion.
I have an additional photo that was not part of my submittal. Is it okay, Madam Chair, to share that?
At conceptual, yes, you can show us the photo.
Okay. So this is the front elevation, and you can see they're quite extended cast
Yes.
here. I'd say that's probably 6 feet
Yes.
on both sides as it meets and symmetrical somewhat to the center line.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, then back to the elevation for a sec. And then, and so these doors we were looking at and windows, they go down to the floor.
They do, yes.
And that's typical over here on the other elevation, on the side elevation, same
Yeah,
thing.
so
Is
this-
that, is
that's
that the,
correct.
that's the living room also?
This is the living room, and this is out towards this covered patio, as you see my note here with, so this is roof covered.
Right, right.
So in plan, you're seeing the windows here to the right of the
Okay.
living space.
Yes, got it.
Uh-huh.
Got it. And then that entrance porch is, the width of that is, I can't see the dimension there.
Yeah, I believe I'm just shy of 6 feet.
Okay,
Pardon me. Yeah, 5.5 feet.
okay. Okay, those were my questions.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is Robin. I was wondering if why this was brought to us. Is this in the Hillside Ridgeline?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, Leah, do we have any public comment?
We do not have any requests to speak.
Okay, board comments?
I have a couple comments.
Go for it.
Who's this?
I think it's really.
That's Cass.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
thank you.
Cass. I think it's really great. And the only thing I would wonder about is, and just asking how you would feel about it, is whether or not that entrance might want to be a little bit wider. It feels a little bit deep and, proportionately maybe. I know you've got skylights up there, so that will bring light into the space, but just a question to, think about whether it might be a little bit wider and more in proportion, like you were showing us the main house and how it has sort of a similar kind of an element, but it's in proportion to the overall house, it's much bigger. And I appreciate that you made the overhangs a little bit less, just to be in proportion with this sort of smallish structure.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just what hit me, is that it might feel a little bit tight.
Just there at the entry porch.
Yeah.
Yeah, entry hallway, if you
Yeah.
will. Uh-huh. Okay, thank you.
So anyway, just something to think about, but it's a very fun little structure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything to add to Cass's comments. It's, I think it will be a nice complement to the main house.
Okay. Alan or Robin?
I've got nothing to add. Looks good.
I agree.
Okay, I have no comments either. Looks good. How do we want to see this return? Actually, Tony, I have one
Yes.
quick question.
Sure.
What, your Hillside Ridgeline, you haven't really spoken about the Hillside Ridgeline. Are you meeting the requirements?
I would assume so now, if we've gotten this far. I'm working with Brett Jones as a planner.
Okay.
And what is it? Tina Mitchell's our staff.
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
So the way this was determined, this is a steep hillside, and the actual property access comes through this thick oak grove here and wraps up around, makes a hairpin turn, and comes back into the property. So at this point, we definitely drop the 16 feet plus. And I've kind of lost focus of the question, Bethany.
Can you show us on your elevations if you're meeting the height, the 16 foot or 19 foot if you're roof pitches for?
Yeah, so I'm at 16 feet max here.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
meeting it. It's fine.
Yeah, so I started with there and worked down, thus determining what our plate heights were going to be.
Okay, that was my question. I just wanted to make sure we got it there. All right. No, so preliminary final, is that what we're thinking on the board?
That's fine with me.
Yes.
Cass,
I'm fine with that.
Puck, okay.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too.
And I think that was an okay from Robin as well. Okay, so return preliminary final full board, and we'll get you going.
Outstanding, thank you.
Are
Yes.
your colors and such and detailing for windows and doors to match the existing Cliff
That's
May?
our intention, yeah, and that was my main focus for sharing these photos here.
Okay.
You know, there are a lot of great details.
Okay.
Textured plaster, outriggers.
Okay, so the caveat moving forward is, as you know, make sure that your drawings reflect all that, you know, colors and
Yes.
materials and details and all those, lots of notes. And just make sure that, and then if you are introducing something new, make sure that, you know, like I see you got to picture your grape steak over that one window. So if that's existing, fine, and that's going to match, then just make sure you've covered all the possibilities.
Sure, you bet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Thanks for the great comments.
All right. Have a great day. All
Thank you.
right.
Bye-bye.
So this is item number 4. And I think Robin said she has a conflict of interest with this item. Carlson Ag Employee Dwelling Accessory Structures, 21 bar 190. Do we have somebody here?
Yes,
Is it-
Lori Kari. Hi.
Okay. I'm just going to share where we are. I don't know, because I have it up from the last item. So this is 101 here. So this is well in the ranch, and if it came up correct.
I don't see
is that the
that.
site? This is what came up on Google Earth. So
Okay, I don't see it, but it's parcel 40. It's quite
hold
quite
on
a
a
ways
second.
in.
Sorry.
Oh.
I forgot to hit the
Oh.
last share button. So here we go. So
Okay.
this is 101 over here. This is what came up on Google Earth. So it's quite a ways in. All right.
Yes,
So go ahead
correct.
and grab the screen share and show us what you got.
Okay, share.
There you go.
Oh, that's actually the house. How do I share the other one? I'm looking for the site plan here. Can you see that?
What we're seeing is a
The site
vicinity
plan.
map and a site plan. Yes.
Correct. Okay, so this is on San Augustine Road, and it's I believe 102-acre parcel, which is typical of the ranch. And this would be all new structures. There is a main house that was constructed in the 80s, I believe, quite a ways back on the property. So it'd be to the northeast, I believe. You can't see it from this portion of the parcel. I think it comes in from a different road, actually, the main house up there. So it would be a new employee residence with a detached garage and a small barn. And the residence itself is 2,670 square feet. The garage is, oh, no, I'll take that back. The residence is 2,084 square feet. The two-car garage is 586. And the barn is 772 with a 404 square foot loft. So it's approximately 1,126 square feet. We have an existing road or driveway coming in. We're currently working with the fire department on a proposed hammerhead, and we have a planner, and you know how complex Hollister Ranch, coastal, and all those can be for CDP and so on. So our planner, Veronica King, has written up her report and requirements. So we are in the process. So I thought, you know, I'd say, well, we at least show it to the board conceptually at this point, and just to get some comments. We've also shown it to Hollister Ranch Board, HRDC, and they like the overall appearance, size, scale, location, and so that was positive. And so we haven't gone beyond that with them. They did a site visit. And so anyway, so on the site plan here, we have the proposed garage that's detached, you know, very simple design. Board and bat is our basic design, and for all three structures. And this petite barn is for what the company is called, the owner's company is called the Bummer Calf Operation. And Kathy Carlson, actually, my client, she rescues calves that are rejected from their mother, and they bottle feed them, and basically until they're old enough, weaned, and they're either, she also takes them from other cattle operations, including the Hollister Ranch operation. And once they're weaned, they go back to their original owner, or they get sold, or, you know, there's some, you know, whatever has been negotiated for where they end up going. So this is proposed to be where they are taken care of, and the loft would be for their formulas and so on, and to be in close proximity there for the employee residents. There's often, you know, 24-hour of feeding them, and or, you know, whatever you need to do to get them, keep them going, as if you're the mother cow. So hence the employee residence, and it's an ongoing operation. So it's been in you know, in the program for many years, but it's been on other their parcel where they're living, you know, at a rental, so that the calves could be in close proximity to where they live, because it's a lot of work. So how do I get to the other one to show the house? There's a house.
Probably scroll down.
Do you see it?
Nope.
Well, they're on two different drawings.
Tell you what, I'm going to grab your screen. Just hold
Okay.
still.
Hold still. Oh, you know, the photos, I didn't open those up.
Just hold on.
Okay, I'm
I'll
holding
get
on.
you there. Okay, so this is what is in our
Okay.
so hold on a second. I'm just gonna walk
I-
through. Let me go back and grab the photos real quick, and
Yeah,
then
that would be great.
you can
There you
talk
go.
about the photos.
Yes, that's what I should have started with, but they weren't on board. They look really dull from my end, but so on the left, view to barn site, you see a petite building, or it's not really a structure. And there's a flat area to the right of the oak. Oh, there it is. And to the right and behind the oak, and that's the proposed barn location.
In here?
We would be retaining in the back about 5 to 6 feet in the rear.
Okay.
And then to the right of that is a view to the garage, which would be, yeah, to the left of this oak tree. We're trying to mitigate our impact on the oaks. There are many mature oaks.
Okay.
So we're just trying our best to, okay. And the house site is on a slope. It maxes at 20% pretty much. It's probably in the vicinity where it's the least steep. It gets pretty steep as you head up behind the proposed house location. And we're terracing the walls behind either combination of retaining wall at the house and then gabion retaining behind about five vertical feet.
Just to be clear, as regards the photos here, so this is your house site along in here, right? On this slope?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this tree here is this tree here in the right-hand photo?
To the west. Pretty much, yeah, we are, yes.
Okay.
That's 1, 2, 3, yeah. And this is a double trunk tree, I believe, over here.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back to your plan.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Okay.
Well, we need the other one.
Just let me
Yeah.
just orient from the picture. So you showed us, this is the first picture we looked at. Hold on, just let me. So the first picture we looked at, that's the mature oak that you're talking about, right?
Yes, with the barn too.
And the barn is set, and that trailer was kind of somewhere in here. And then the second picture we looked at was the garage. Okay, and then we looked at the house slope, and this is one of the oaks.
One of the clumps, and there's the big one.
Okay, all right. So let's go down to, this is the floor plan for the house, right?
Correct. We lost some of our vegetation here. It's probably hiding behind the green. So at the hammerhead, that's the entry. The middle of the hammerhead is the entry steps to the house. And then, as you saw in the site plan, we have 2 parking spaces to the west, where the owner could choose, or a guest, to walk in level across a covered patio to the entry. Or you're not supposed to park in the hammerhead, but we might propose some other off driveway parking. But we're trying to mitigate our impact on the oaks and the canopies and the root structure. So it's a little tricky. And that's where we have found the best locations for these buildings. So there's 3 ways to approach the residences. To your west at a level parking level to the patio, up from, the center of the hammerhead pretty much. And then there's some stairs up from the garage, which will be located higher than, this main and stair entry, because, it's up at a higher elevation and would have less steps, which would be nice. Right over here, I can't read it, floor elevation. The garage is,
Looks like the garage is
470
475, the house
and
is 480,
correct.
and the barn is at 462.
Right.
Okay.
But, just to have the garage have less stairs, to reach the back entrance to the house, or the east entrance. So there's, and essentially, I mean, it's going to be a simple board and bat if we want to look at the elevations. And some drought tolerant landscaping behind the site wall that has a minimum slope, so we can not require railings. It does have a nice petite view towards the ocean, sort of like not quite a peekaboo, it has a really nice view from the main south elevation of the house. So therefore we have the deeper patio off the great room with the tall sliding doors. And we're proposing, there again, either a corrugated or board and bat, or standing seam, sorry, corrugated or standing seam, Corta and steel roof. And we'd use like, well, what do we have on materials? We have composite, or non-combustible board and bat, which would be like a hardy board with the bats. And oops, sorry, it's my phone. And then like a Colby type window clad exterior, wood interior. And we, have some, natural, like we try and blend in with the existing palette of, the oak woodland and whatever native species are out there. There's probably some scrub oak and some other very simple maximum height. Can you read that? I'm looking at
I'm going to talk about the height when we get to the height counts.
Comments.
One of my comments, yes. So you can
16, right? Ridge line. So we try and to tuck in as much as possible, and the square footage is quite reasonable, I believe, of the house.
Okay.
So, okay. Next.
Do you have anything else you would like to add?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
Mhm.
so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for board members' quick questions, and that'll be to you. And then we'll do public comment, and then we will come back to the board for discussion. Before I call for board member questions, I'm going to talk about the height. That's the first thing I'm going to address in my comments. So if you have any other questions, or even if you have a question about the height, we can go ahead and do that, but I don't want to get into the discussion portion until we get to that part of our thing. Cass, do you have any questions?
Hi, Lori. Thank you.
Hi.
Nice presentation. Could you, just to help me be clear, you mentioned at first that this is this a completely separate parcel? Or is this part of a large parcel where there's an existing house already and this is the second house on this parcel? Could you, I didn't.
Yeah. That's correct.
That it's a separate, completely separate parcel?
No, I mean, correct, it's a second house on the larger parcel. It has a, they usually have a 2-acre envelope. The living structure, or like the main structure, or the employee house. And the rest, often of the rest of the parcel is often either individual agriculture that the owner has in the ag preserve, or it's free range cattle that's owned by the Hollister Ranch Cooperative. And the owner, my client, runs the Hollister Ranch Cattle Cooperative. So that's where the entire ranch is in the ag preserve. And then this calf operation would also be in the ranch, it does have an ag preserve component.
So back, that picture you were showing earlier shows you could see where the existing house is and how this relates to, yeah, and that one is that.
I'm trying to find the correct road.
It's San Augustine.
Yeah.
I'm looking. Oops.
Hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I've got myself too.
Oh, you see well, they show it on that, but
I'm looking for San Augustine, which should be right in here somewhere. There it is.
There it is.
Where?
Okay, so this is
The main road.
Ministerial, which is the main drag, and this is San Augustine.
It's quite a ways back.
Let's see. Yeah, I think you're up here somewhere, according to your conceptual plan. I'm just going to zoom in just a second. It's helpful if you do a vicinity map and then you show us the entire parcel and with some context for the setting, because it's what we're trying to do is get an idea of where it is. Okay, so that goes up squiggles like that. Sorry, that was my phone. So you're right in here.
On the right, to the right of San Augustine, correct.
Okay, so this is Segundo. Is it Segundo? So where exactly? Just right in here hanging out, or is it in the, because it looks like you've got some oaks.
Yeah, I think we're
How about
further
right
up
there?
in the oaks. That's, yeah, appears to be where
This
it is.
looks like more of a.
Yeah, there's a driveway coming in, and
Does this look about right? This does
Yes.
actually, because this looks
It
like
does.
the house goes here, the barn's here, and the garage
right,
is
and the
right
garage
there.
is there.
Okay,
And then where is the existing house?
from here.
Yeah, I've not seen it personally. It's not in any proximity where you could see it.
I think we
Where you
still,
could view
though,
it.
for purposes of our review, we need to know where it is and we need to see, what the whole parcel is.
No, I agree. I mean,
Okay.
there again, we can come back with all those
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, well,
specifics.
that was my question, and just understanding how the whole thing works together in terms of the main house, and then the second, what actually they're using it as a guest house or an employee residence.
It says employee residence.
But it certainly could be a,
Yeah, it is an employee residence, and that can be larger than a guest house. It has no square footage limitations that I'm aware of. And I'm looking on this really primitive site map. But it appears that the main
See it.
house
It's right
is
there.
to the east. Oh, somebody
Yes,
sees it.
that's it. That's it. Can you
Right
see
there?
it? Yes.
Way over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I found
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I thought that was it. I said, there's another structure right there. Hold
Yeah,
on.
I mean, 100
Yeah.
acres is pretty big. And
Okay, so you've got this oak woodland in between, and then it's separated. This is what we're talking about here. Okay.
correct. Sorry.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
That was my question.
Okay, so any other questions? Puck, Robin, or Robin's not here. Puck or Lowell or Lowell. Alan, I'm gonna get you right.
Well, thanks.
I
No,
just,
no more
go ahead,
questions.
Alan.
right?
Okay, Alan has no more questions. What you got, Puck?
I just had a question on the barn, and they're bringing these baby cows up there, right?
Correct.
So are they just kind of offloading in the hammerhead, and for a trailer, for a cattle trailer, to be able to maneuver around up there?
Well, actually, what doesn't really show on this survey / site plan, we did, have a full survey, that there is a bit of a road too coming in off before the quote E driveway signage here on the drawing on the site plan, and it does come off and go to the left to the barn. We haven't gotten so specific with that layout and how it's going to specifically take place,
Okay.
the unloading of the calves.
I just think since that's part of the operation, it should be considered.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
of course.
Let's,
I agree with you.
Any other quickie questions? From the board? All right, Leah, do we have any public comment? We can't hear you, Leah. Did I lose Leah? Nicole, are you in the same room with Leah or are you remote?
I'm remote. I will try texting her. however.
I don't know that we need to. I'm
Okay.
seeing only you, well, twice.
Yeah.
Leah, Robin, Alan, Andy Carlson, which is obviously the applicant, Puck, Cass, Lori Carey, and myself. So I don't even see anybody attending. So I think we can safely say that we don't have any public comment. And I'm not seeing any hands raised or anything either. So if you're a member of the public and wish to comment on this item, raise your hand on the Zoom meeting. And we'll give that. I'm still not seeing anything. So let's see. Yep, I'm still not seeing anybody. So let's go ahead and call that good. Yeah, there's nobody here but us. Okay, so let's go back to the board. I'm going to start off and I'm going to talk first about the height calculation. Height calculations are taken from existing grade. So in particular, and they need to be shown on all your elevations so that we can get a good idea of exactly how the calculations are working. And this is also critical for the planner as well. So, and you need to identify what the existing line is. So it looks like in this example, for example, it's taken off of this wall and this wall and then up the slope. That's not done correctly. It needs to be taken, and you need to show the existing grade through the house. And you need to do the check because what it is I'm going to go to the site plan here. And this is kind of difficult the way you've layered your stuff. The critical root zones, and I mean this is just a graphic issue. We can't see it. Everything's kind of floating on top of those things, as well as the existing grade. So it's a little the line weight, the graphic representation. I'm sure you can improve that and get it to or see it. So you need to do your calculations based on the existing grade. So you need to show that line, and you'll have to double check, especially like say through this main ridge here, that you're not exceeding that 16-foot projection in space from the existing grade. And I suspect, given what I saw on this elevation here, that you're going to have to go back and calculate it for the barn and the garage as well. I don't expect you'll have a problem with the garage necessarily, but the barn looked like it could be close. So you'll just need to go back and double check those. And if you have any questions about that, how that's done, you can talk to your planner, or you can contact your planner and ask to talk to me if you need to see any of that. So, and that needs to be shown for these elevations. Now, because it's taken as a projection of the plane, of course, looking at it this way, where we're looking upslope, it becomes, where do you do that, right? Many applicants find it beneficial to do some sections through what could be, the main peak, and where they expect that they might be protruding beyond that. What is your roof pitch, Lori?
I believe it's a 5 and 12, and then the porch is a 2 and 12.
Okay, so you've got a roof pitch that's greater than 4 and 12, so you actually have a 19-foot allowance, which I think you're going to need. So you should just go back and liaise with the planner a little bit, and make sure that these are all working out and that you're complying. I can tell you right now that one of the reasons it's taken from existing is because we didn't want people to use walls like this to increase their height. Okay, that's why you can't do that. That's why it was written the way it was when they redid it, whatever, how many years ago they did it again. Sorry, that was my phone. That's the first thing I had to talk about. Your pictures those were really, really well done. I mean, I could see exactly what the site looks like. Even though the main house is considerable distance away, and you might for your next submittal want to, in addition to these pictures, same pictures, you might also want to include some pictures of that main house, or not. But that's always a question we always ask. What's it look like? And then that just kind of goes into the calculus of our comments. The site circulation, I think Puck started talking about that. I think you're very much going to need to take that into account. And then I already talked about the height. So those are basically my comments. Puck, you want to start in with yours and I can move the screen as needed?
Okay, yeah, I like the materials and the structures. I think because typical Hollister, this is a gnarly site where you have to knit a lot of things into the topography. I'd really like to see on the next round much more detail about just conceptually, but really integrated into the whole design package, the grading and drainage and how things function. And for the house, I was just wondering, so you'll be able to access the house. There's 2 extra parking spots. I just wondered that you can go into the house from those 2 parking spots, correct?
Correct.
On grade. You don't have to go up any stairs.
That's what
Yeah.
we're proposing. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
That's here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. To
I-
the east.
I thought I caught
I
that.
mean west. Sorry.
I just wanted to make sure. So, and if we go back to the plan view with the retaining walls,
Mhm.
This one?
yeah, I mean, retaining walls really do have to return somehow, those ends where you're trying to wrap the grade around. It looks pretty extreme. So it's that level of detail that I'd really like to see thought about. It doesn't have to be drafted in, CAD or anything if you don't want to, but just to figure out the numbers and what's really going on there, because that looks pretty tight wrapping around those corners. So those are my only comments, but I do like the materials and especially the way it sort of ties into the whole old cattle operation.
Okay.
That's it.
Cass?
I think you guys have covered the issues regarding the height and all that. I think it's nicely designed. I like the style of it and the board and bat, and I think it is very attractive. So I don't have any further comments.
And no Robin, she has a conflict. So Alan?
I'm pretty happy with it. I think it'll fit in nicely. I like the way they put it in there. I understand your concerns about height, and I don't disagree. I just don't think it's going to look that. I don't think anybody's ever going to see it from the road or anything, so I don't have a problem with that. But I understand they have to follow the rules. I particularly like the way the house is laid out. I think it's going to be very nice over there.
Okay. And just to build on my comments are fairly general. I mean, I agree with everybody else as far as the style and colors, but primarily what my focus at this point are some of the kind of the initial things as far as documentation and completing your package. So I think amongst the board, you've got a nice set of comments. I think you. Yes, Cass.
I'm sorry to interrupt, please. When you're finished, I just want to say one other thing.
Go for it.
That just back to that issue before of being able to see the entire, I realize it's a gigantic site, but a parcel, but to see the whole thing, I think that'll be important. And I think that's what you were getting at.
I was starting to get to that. Yes. So exactly. You just anticipated me. So on your drawings, you should also include, in addition to your photos and such, this is the vicinity map, but then there should be, typically people put a vicinity map and then they show us the context of the parcel and then reference this site plan then so that we can get focused in. That will help immensely. Although I think we'll probably remember, but it'll still help immensely. As far as Puck's comments, this is still conceptual. And I realize that if you're like me, you do your conceptual stuff on CAD. But you know, some looser drawings, you know, a scan of something overlaid with your CAD drawing is perfectly fine if you want to show us for the grading. And it might be helpful to break this out at some point. You know, you're showing your grading and then other, you know, how it all functions on site. It's up to you how you want to do it. I would say that it's very difficult to read this light green. I mean, we're seeing these dark identifications for the trunks of the trees, and that's just a symbol deal. But the actual canopy is much more extensive, and it's, as I mentioned before, some of these things are occluded by the line work on top of it. For example, the building and the hammerhead and so on. So it'd be nice if the layers were perhaps rearranged slightly so that the information was a little easier to internalize quickly. So I think you need to come back with your planner's clearance for further conceptual. The rest of the board agree with that?
I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay, so I think you got a whole host of comments. And with that in mind, before we sign off here, Nicole, do you have any questions about the huge amount of comments? Or did you get them?
Did you say you had comments on the colors? I don't think I got that.
Cass and Puck, I think, both mentioned the colors and seemed to be supportive. Is that correct?
Okay.
Did we, I don't recall that we actually saw colors.
Okay,
Can
well
I
then it
comment,
was,
or-
But that Lori was going to bring those back.
okay, so
Yes.
that's what it was, Nicole.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lori, were you going to clarify that?
Yeah, I was just going to clarify a few things. So, you know, we remained quite conceptual at this juncture, what would you say? Because, you know, we just got our comments from our planner. She's helping guide us on the other issues that we need to
Sure, your
attend
land
to.
use.
Well, yeah, our septic, and we're in process with all this, but this, I think, was a good starting point with CBAR. And I knew that, you know, we are very, very conceptual. And we do have this in 3D, and we were planning on modeling it for the next
That's all
review.
great. You bring
And-
that back and that'll be great.
And I really appreciate your, you know, wanting more, you know, better clarification on the site and so on. And that's all going to be developed too, so that we can better, you know, visual, you and all, and us, we can all better visualize. And yes, we do need that. This is for Hollister Ranch also. And I understand that, you know, for county too, as to depict the whole parcel. I have a very, very primitive parcel plan for the entire site. But there are drawings for the main house and where it's
I'm gonna
located.
kind of stop you because I'm trying to get my board comments done and kind of wrap stuff up. It's if you don't have any further questions about the comments, that's fine. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Perfect. And we'll just leave it as we look forward to whatever you bring back and want to show us.
Yes.
And we're anticipating it.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Nicole, you're
Thank
set?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I
right.
think that winds up this. I had the wrong thing. Yep, this winds up this number 4. I'm getting back to my agenda. Hold on, guys.
Okay.
I think that's the final item we're hearing. I don't think we have anything else before I make a motion to adjourn. Nope. All right, then
Okay.
I'm going to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I have a second?
Second.
That was Puck. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll see you guys on this next week on the 17th at 8:15.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I thought it was
Bye.
8:30.
Bye.
8:15?
8:15.
8:15 next week.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.